This is the briefing for Friday, July 26th. I'm a little surprised that we didn't see any more price development than we saw in today's trading. The internals really were fairly strong today, but we spent most of the day in a pretty tight range. This is the spiders on a 60-minute basis. This is the Qs. You can see today was really even tighter in the Qs. And the Russell still showing much more strength than the other indices, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But here, this is S&P breadth. So there's 500 shares in the S&P 500, 379 shares positive. So that's just really a pretty good, about 80%, almost 80% of the stocks in the S&P 500 were up as opposed to lower. In the NASDAQ 1800, that's about 50%, maybe a little bit less than 50%. And in the Russell breadth was fairly strong also, as you can see. Price is holding up in terms of the Russell, but it's really a little bit surprising to see the internals as strong as they were at today's open and really continued throughout the day, and not to see any price increase or price appreciation, which we probably should have seen. So this leaves me really kind of thinking that there's something else out there that the other indices, at least the Russell's not paying attention to it, but the spiders and the Qs certainly have some angst about potentially what might be happening in the economy. Now you can see this is the spiders on a daily basis, and you can see we pierced through this 540 level yesterday, closed below it, but opened just above it in today's trading. So that's support, and resistance is 550. So we got a 10-point range in the spiders. Volume falling off over the last 2 days of trading in the spiders. 52-week highs minus 52-week lows increasing nicely, and breadth, of course, in the NYSE fairly strong in today's trading. In the NASDAQ, you can see the NASDAQ traded through this 470 level on Wednesday, traded lower yesterday, and looked like it's going to approach and test this 450 level, which is the next level of support. 470 is resistance. Volume falling off, but breadth fairly strong. I mean, this is just really, really very interesting to see the divergence between price and the internals. Typically, you will see price appreciation moving higher, and the internals begin moving lower, which signals the potential for some type of rotation or some type of top. Now we're seeing just the opposite. The market is really lingering at lower levels with the internals strengthening, but price really not moving anywhere. And you can see in today's trading, you can see this was a day that neither buyers nor sellers could gain control, because you have a buying tail here and a selling tail right there, and then really just not a whole lot happening right in the middle for the whole day. And then of course the Russell just basically on fire, testing the all-time highs. This 225 level, really important resistance. This is a selling candle that came in on the 17th. So it appears that candle is going to get retraced. But the Russell, really, they're buying the Russell. They're buying the mid caps, the small caps, the mid caps, I should say. Volume falling off, but breadth expanding fairly nicely. In terms of overbought and oversold, we did reach a point of being extremely overbought. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is resolved in Monday's trading. Now, certainly because the internals were so strong, that gave us the overbought condition. But really, in terms of price development, we didn't see any expansion in terms of price development at all. So it doesn't preclude the market from going higher in Monday's trading, but certainly we want to watch what happens, especially to the downside with these support levels that I've just covered. In terms of the percentage of stocks above the 50 and 200-day moving averages, now this is the S&P 500 above the 50-day moving average. So you can see that the trend is still down. I should probably move that trend line and connect the tops this way. And you can see 200-day moving average right at trend. So the internals are strengthening, as you can see. This is the NASDAQ on 50-day moving average. You can see the expansion here, and on the 200-day moving average as well, even though we're seeing price falling, as you can see here. And then the Russell. This is very interesting. look at the Russell explode. The percentage of stocks above the 50-day moving average up at almost 80%. Percentage of stocks above the 200-day moving average almost at 70%. This is certainly something to write home about. You can see price development just really expanding with the Russell. The internals supporting the move. So, the other indices need to catch up with the Russell, because if they don't and the Russell corrects, we could see a huge correction in the Russell. But right now the trend is up, and it is supported by the internals of the Russell. Should be a very interesting beginning to next week, especially if we can break out of this small rotation that we've been in for the last 2 days of trading. You can see here, this is the Qs, this was the spiders. And then, of course, the Russell has a chance, the IWM has a chance to break out above the 225 area. That would be a significant event. Have a great weekend, and I'll pick this back up again for subscribers on Monday.